Narration soft, reflective. The rain that night was unforgiving, sharp, relentless, and cold enough to make you forget what warmth ever felt like. I was on my way home after a 14-hour shift at the hospital, drenched, exhausted, and honestly, just trying to make it through another day. My name's Ethan Cole, a single dad, nurse, and a man who's forgotten what rest feels like. Life hasn't been kind, but my son, Jamie, keeps me going. He's 9, curious, and too good for a world this harsh. I remember clutching my worn-out umbrella, crossing 7th Avenue, when I saw the headlights bright, blinding, and then, a crash. Dash dash. Sound of tires screeching, glass breaking. I dropped my bag and ran. A black SUV had skidded into a streetlight, steam rising from the hood. People passed by, some recording, others staring, but no one moved. So I did what I always do, I ran toward the danger. I yanked open the door. A man was slumped over the wheel, bleeding from his forehead, barely conscious. "Hey! Stay with me!" I shouted, pressing my fingers to his neck. A pulse weak, but there. He groaned, mumbling, "It's too deep. Easy, it hurts." His voice cracked, and I realized this wasn't just some guy. I recognized his face from TV, from billboards downtown. Liam Hartwell, billionaire CEO of Hartwell Industries. The man who owned half of New York's skyline, now broken and bleeding in my arms. Dash dash. I called 911, kept pressure on the wound, talking to him so he wouldn't fade. "Hey, you're gonna be fine, okay, just hang on. I'm a nurse, I got you." He looked at me, dazed. You shouldn't be out here." I almost laughed. "Trust me, I've seen worse nights." The paramedics arrived minutes later, but those minutes felt like hours. I rode with them to the hospital, because something inside told me I couldn't just walk away. Dash dash. Scene transition, hospital sounds, monitors beeping softly. Hours passed. I sat outside the ICU, soaked and shivering. I didn't know why I stayed, maybe because I'd seen too many people left alone in moments like that. Maybe because, deep down, I understood pain that money can't fix. When the doctor finally came out, he said, "He'll live thanks to you. If you hadn't stopped the bleeding." I just nodded, too tired to process it. Dash dash. 2 days later, while changing shifts, I saw him again, awake this time, in his private suite. He looked different, vulnerable, grounded. "Ethan, right?" he asked. "You saved my life." I shrugged. "Just did my job." He smiled faintly. "No. You did more than that. You stayed." That caught me off guard. People like him don't usually notice people like me. Dash dash. Over the next week, I checked on him between shifts. We talked not about business or money, but about life. He told me how success had cost him everything: his marriage, his peace, his sleep. And I told him about Jamie, how we lost his mom to cancer, how I work nights so he never feels what loss really means. He said softly, "You're doing it alone." "Yeah," I said. "Because that's what love does, it doesn't quit." He stared at me for a long moment, then said, "Maybe I forgot what that feels like." Dash dash. Scene, rain again, hospital rooftop, a week later. It was raining again. I was taking a short break when I heard footsteps. Liam stood there, coat over his shoulders, staring at the skyline. He said, "You know, before the accident, I was on my way to fire someone." Over numbers. Over greed. I thought money was life. But lying there, all I wanted was to see my son again. He doesn't even talk to me anymore. His voice broke. And for a man like him that meant everything. I said quietly, maybe it's not too late. He smiled, eyes wet. You sound like you actually believe that. I do, I said. Because people come back if someone's willing to wait long enough. Scene transition, few weeks later. Liam was discharged. I thought that was the end of it, rich man saved, poor man forgotten. But I was wrong. One evening, I came home to find a black car parked outside my apartment. My landlord was there too, holding an envelope and smiling like he'd just won the lottery. Inside that envelope was a letter. Ethan, you reminded me what humanity feels like. Your kindness saved more than my life, it saved my soul. Consider this not a gift, but a thank you. Use it to build the life you deserve. Liam. There was a check. Enough to pay off years of debt, enough to give Jamie a future. But the best part wasn't the money. It was the next morning, when Jamie handed me a small note he found under the door. It just said, tell Jamie I'd like to meet him someday. From one father to another. Scene, closing narration, soft piano rises. Sometimes, the people who seem untouchable are the ones most in need of being saved. And sometimes, the ones who have nothing left to give end up giving the most. That night, in the pouring rain, I thought I was just helping a stranger. Turns out, I was helping us both find our way back to what really matters: humanity.